Welcome to the Dream Big Summit. Here today with my very special guest, John Burgos. I am super grateful to have John Burgos here on the show because he himself runs a show called Beyond the Ordinary. He has speakers of the most amazing caliber who really go beyond the ordinary. And he does this all for free. He offers all these works of art to all the listeners who want. So if you want to look him up, Beyond the Ordinary, he has ongoing shows every few days, depending on what you want to sign up with, all free of charge. And today I want to talk with him about his personal life because he has lived and is living proof of having truly gone beyond the ordinary in a number of ways. One was a life-threatening situation, actually. He'll tell you all about it in a minute, and the solutions and resolutions he came about that his partner went through. And then also the very amazing discovery of the true man and maleness in him that he went to discover after that journey. So John Burgos, welcome here on the Dream Big Summit, creating a better life for yourself and the planet.
Oh my God, Ilona, what a fantastic welcome. And it's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of these amazing group of speakers that you're hosting on the summit as well. It's incredible what you're doing.
Yeah, I am feeling very blessed. I feel like almost the universe has a hand in it. Things are lining up, and as they do, when we start dreaming big, the universe starts answering. So I want to find out about the story in your life that you just went through a few years ago. If you could fill us in, your life partner was faced with pretty much a potential death sentence hanging overhead, and you fill in all the blanks and tell us about it.
Yeah, it was definitely a death sentence. It was August 2 years ago that she started developing this pain in the side of her neck. First, there was bumps in the back of her head, and she was attributing the bumps to energy work that she was doing. She's an energy worker, and all this. It's like, energy work is great, but we still have to check out our physical bodies. It's talking to us. It's trying to tell us something. And when signs like that come up, it's better to integrate the benefits and the miracles of Western medicine along with what we understand with energy work as well. And when you do that, you take the merging of those, then you really have a holistic approach. But it got delayed because the energy work was given more credence than to something else that was coming up, because she's in her own right a fantastic teacher and master at what she does. Several weeks later, it started spreading to her neck, and it got so bad that she had to go get an MRI. She thought she had a pinched nerve. She can barely move. She goes in and we get the diagnosis. It's like, man, you have cancer.
Oh my God.
There's tumors growing in there. You need to go see a specialist. We went to go see a specialist, and the look on the guy's face just said it all. I'm going to refer you to a program. It's a good friend of mine. He's down the road in Los Angeles. He's only taking a certain amount of clients for this experiential treatment. It seems like you're a good candidate for it. We got all the CAT scans, the MRIs, and the results were that she had melanoma cancer on the inside of her body.
On the inside instead of the outside. Yep.
Inside of her body. And she had a 3-pound tumor in her brain.
So that had grown overnight, basically. So it was like, definitely do a miracle now or else.
And the doctors weren't necessarily telling us that, and we weren't asking either, because we didn't want to get into it's either this or that.
Okay.
We didn't want to get into a belief system that's been projected based on somebody else's experience than what we could create together. And her in her own right, the strength that she carried through and the courage to say yes to life, really, I believe, was the biggest indicator and
determined.
Yeah, thank you, to help her get through the process. So
you're saying her desire to absolutely believe in the impossible, so to speak, and in a solution that was possible, as well as her determination to live, was what?
Well, we didn't even get into the impossible. It didn't seem impossible. It's like, okay, what's the solution?
Okay, good. Okay.
So impossible isn't a word that came up. And it was funny because again, she went through it. We got the test, we got the RMS, and she started this experiential treatment, which they were doing autoimmune therapy, combining two different drugs, hadn't been approved yet through the FDA. And this doctor, this clinic only took the worst case scenarios of the worst case scenarios.
Okay.
And she was the worst case scenario of the worst case scenarios.
But you didn't know that.
I didn't ask. I knew. In my heart and body, everything screamed to me, this is much more than anybody's letting on.
Okay.
Bad as it was. She went through the treatment, and it was amazing. The strength and conviction that she held, and also that I held space for, because I wasn't about to let her go through that deep end unnecessarily, because it didn't serve.
Right.
It didn't serve. And so if she was going through a wave, I'd ride it with her,
Right.
but I wouldn't add energy to anything that wasn't of the highest vibration. We just couldn't do that. And it was draining.
And knowing you, I hear it again and again from your words, you held a mindset that saw the solution, the possible, didn't even entertain the other possibility of the impossible, like you said. I really love that you're pointing that out. And thank you for repeating that, because I think when we have a very strong conviction, and I know we had conversations throughout all that time, the burden that you went through, but also I show up in 100%, 150%, whatever it takes. I'll take over everything, plus the belief. That for you as a partner to have gone through is really one of the features that I want to talk about. It isn't only us who create healing, it's everybody around us as well that holds space with us.
Absolutely. I didn't know how taxing it was until after we went through the ordeal. I had no idea the energy that I was emanating and putting out. And it was a mindset, but it was also an energetic set.
Right.
My energy carried, I'm supporting you, I'm here, you're doing this.
Right.
And it wasn't a choice, it just was. That's just how we showed up.
Right.
And it kept escalating and emanating. And what happened is, after 3 months of taking this immunotherapy drug, it started shrinking.
The tumor started shrinking.
Yeah, the tumor started shrinking, and it started going in the right direction. And the doctor's going, I think we've got this. Oh my God. And they were just there. She's like this amazing miracle. The tumors in her brain were shrinking, in her lungs, in her lymph nodes. They were all shrinking. And at that point, when I asked the doctor, and I go, so tell me the truth now. I didn't ask before, because I didn't want to know, and I didn't want to feed the fear. What was the real prognosis? If this wouldn't have worked, and we weren't sure if it would have, she would have died in 6 weeks.
Oh my God. God, I get chills. Well, I also believe, and you guys stood for that and still stand for that, is that you believe in the big universe corresponding to every single call from our soul, with the right answer. I mean, we do have to dare to ask, and we have to dream big. And that's the consciousness that I want to promote, is like, we have to conceive of the greater than what we currently are able to do, to bring it into realization, into manifestation. And that is also our superhuman skills. Our superhuman is our capacity to bring greater amounts of light into this planet, and be the conduits, and be the very beacon of light that we're always hoping to find in other masters.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you said that. And it's so true. And regardless of the outcome, Ilona, what's beautiful about it is that we got called really into our higher self, into our leadership role, into who we are, and showed up in that.
Yeah.
And we showed up on a daily basis. And it's that daily basis, the saying yes to it, continuously over, striving for an outcome, but also surrendering yourself to the divinity of it all, to the dharma in it.
Yes.
Also the karma, because there's
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I think that's equally important in understanding how to co-create with the universe, rather than just, this is my will and it'll be done. Listen up, God. It's a co-creative process. So tell me a bit more about that.
Well, the dharma part of it is really, there was an embracing of what was happening. And so part of my journey with her was, I actually sat there in bed 2 weeks after this, and I was so filled with gratitude for her. And I understood on a soul level that she chose me and I chose her to go through this experience together.
Wow.
And to be chosen to go through something like that with someone, it's a gift. It's a gift that you can't deny. And it's something that was being gifted to me so that I can awaken something within me at the same time.
Yeah. I have chills, just goosebumps all over. I mean, what a being you are to verbalize it like that. You know, what a gift to have you, for me to talk to and to have a man who has that kind of consciousness.
Oh,
So yeah, so karma, dharma. You mentioned dharma, the surrendering to the dharma and the karma. So tell me a little bit about that, and elaborate on that in terms of your other goals.
yeah, well, as far as the karma, especially in the spiritual community, which is what we deal with in Beyond the Ordinary show, we do a lot of transformational work. It's very esoteric, it's very spiritual, but there's a lot of spiritual nonsense that floats around about people's karma and why they get sick and all these other things, and you're not eliminating your limited beliefs and you haven't done your work, and sorry, we're all doing our work. Every time we take a breath, we're doing our work. And so to get into judging other people because they're at a certain level and supposedly, but you've done your work and you're not, it's ludicrous to me.
Or even oneself. A lot of people judge themselves for having gotten sick or feeling sick. I remember when I was a child, I felt ashamed if I had a cough. That was self-instructed. I mean, nobody else told me to, but it's just, we need to realize that this is the next school, lesson plan. Like, hey, you graduated from grade 5, now let's go to grade 6. Lesson plan 101 is do this one, get over this one, or go through, however. So yeah, rather than karma, it's an opportunity to develop greater strength.
Opportunity to develop greater strength, and then also the dharma of it. It's what's the gift in this for us? What's showing up? And again, the gratitude that I had for her when I was laying in bed with her, and I just had that realization as the souls we showed up for each other. That was a huge gift for me in dharma.
Wow.
And an expansion that I probably jumped 2 lifetimes going through that experience in this experience, instead of having to go through all the different incarnations to get the lessons.
Yes.
To get what was coming up. And regardless, that's my interpretation of it.
No, I felt that from you. I felt like your selflessness, your dedication, your 100% surrender, not running when some other people might have said, look, it's getting too tough. Why don't you just sign out? It's easier for me. It's like, no. It
could have been easier. And it was funny because before the diagnosis, I was considering where our relationship was going. And I was doing a lot of self-exploration. It's like, okay, what's coming from me? There's so much love here. There's so much camaraderie and co-creation happening. But why is something inside of me saying that it's almost time for me to go somewhere else? Why? So
just before this event, before you guys learned about this, you would have almost taken another road.
I was questioning taking another road. Not that I was going to, but I was definitely in the process of contemplating a relationship and how I wanted to grow and how we would grow together, if at all.
Right.
And that's a normal course of events for any relationship, but it was at that segment, and not too short afterwards, this showed up. It's like, well, I'm here.
Okay, this is not the time to quit, right?
and it was that instant realization. It just clicked in. It's like, all right, we're here. We're doing this.
Okay.
And we did. It was amazing.
So fast forward 2 years later, how's she doing?
She's completely clear, diagnosed. The cancer's all gone.
Yes.
Yeah, all gone. It was so amazing. Well, it's funny, Ilona, also before he got diagnosed, I was invited to an event in Iceland from a dear friend. I got an extra space. I'm leading an event there. It's only 8 people. It's super exclusive. Just pay airfare. Everything else is taken care of. Wow. We leave August 8th. It was August 8th 2 years ago on the Lionsgate. And it's like, I want to go so bad, and something's telling me I can't go. I can buy the ticket and something's telling me I can't go. I don't know why, but I can't go. Everything said yes. And it's like, I can't do it.
So some part of you knew ahead.
Some part of me knew ahead. So that's part of the Dharma also, I believe. That's part of the stepping into the fullness.
Yes.
And invitation of the flow and grace of divinity in this wave and dance that we're doing in the co-creation with the universe.
Right. So you listen fine-tunedly into higher dimensions. There is an opportunity for myself, but there are other needs. There is something else being asked of me. And as you said, the result is growing leaps and bounds. Instead of taking 2 lifetimes, you learn selflessness, surrender, and all sorts of things, and holding focus all in a short time.
Yeah.
And I want to keep reminding of that word which you said, it didn't seem to serve for her to go down the road of greater suffering. I caught that because I think sometimes when we're faced with whatever calamities or things that aren't going right, one of the questions that I like to ask the universe is this serving the greater whole? And if not, could we have it a little differently? I mean, could we like alter the road a little? Like, right. If we need to go there, okay. But if not, like, seems like a lot of waste of time, energy, resources. Can we like have this outcome? It's like dialoguing with the universe, and because we don't always know the greater purpose of something that may look like a bad situation, we may not know that it's the liberation of some sort,
Absolutely. No, I agree with you completely. And that's a great point, Ilona, because what happens with that is, again, you get to ask and co-create with the divine. And the truth is, we're doing it all the time. It's just consciously aware. We haven't been taught that we can weave through the tapestry as well. We've been taught that we're victims, and we're not. We're not. So to ask the universe is like, okay, what are you trying to show me, and can you show me a different way?
Yeah,
it's so easy.
You are so right on. I mean, it's such a big question in the community of all the people who've studied the law of attraction, The Secret, or people who are saying, well, this woman died, was one of the authors. She'd written the book, Ordering Your Orders with the Universe. Just say what you want and you get it. And she died at age 45. We had 2 little twins, and everybody was like, well, obviously that doesn't work. It's like, well, excuse me, maybe she was needed somewhere else.
Right.
Maybe she had done her work. Go ahead.
We're so quick to judge.
Yeah.
We're so quick to judge other people's paths and journeys, and we don't really understand. It's such an intimate transition while we're here in human form. Yeah. And it's exclusively our own, and nobody can possibly understand the depth of all of the different things that are occurring in the why.
Yeah.
If we can step back and have compassion.
Yes.
And encourage other people to become their illuminated soul on this path, then God, what's possible for all of us, and what freedom does that give us as individuals when we don't judge to get that reciprocated back to us?
Yes. And when we don't judge ourselves, we also allow greater force of God to come through us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love everything you say. Thank you so much. I will take the second conversation. We still have a little bit of time here to go, but I want to, first of all, announce the freebie that you're giving away, which is signing up with your Beyond the Ordinary show.
Yes.
Anything else that you're deciding to give for free, people can get here. Actually, I think it's up here on the button. Please sign up and find out more about John Burgos, his show, The Beyond the Ordinary. Find out what his amazing speakers speak about. And obviously, with his level of consciousness and understanding, his conversations are bound to be deep. And that's your intention, right? To bring spiritual understanding to the everyday people.
Absolutely. My intention was all these tools that I've had access to help me see differently, to help me open up containers that lids were placed upon and upon and upon. I wanted to share that with as many people as possible, because when I started this journey, I didn't know about this stuff.
Right.
My friends around me didn't know anything about any of this conversation. This would blow them out of the water. It'd be crazy. And I didn't understand, after having experienced the type of epiphany that I experienced, how more of the world is not familiar with the type of work that you put out in the world, that the speakers that I have on the show put out in the world. So I had to share that with more people. So instead of serving people, just consulting one-on-one clients or working for speakers, I decided this needed to go out to the masses. And that's how we created the show.
Awesome. 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 What great service. And it uplifts so many people. It's like the Nomad University, really. You are no less the nomad, but you're the free university. You're accessible around the planet, and all these speakers who give their time, and everybody collaborating and bringing this mystical, what used to be hidden knowledge out bit by bit. There's so much to share about all these aspects. So if you were to summarize for me into like 3 nugget points, about the conversation we just had, about learning how to co-create the optimum health, how to show up for someone else, how to show up for yourself. Tell me 3 nuggets that we can take home and maybe practice or internalize ourselves.
Well, and I think it's for anything in life, Ilona. I think there's a place that we create from that stems from first being in wonder. Wonder. Really being in that innocent state of knowing that you don't know. Because there's no possible way that you know this second what's going to occur in the next second, because this experience is so new to us. So we can sit in the innocence of that. It opens up a portal that invites a divine communication in. So being in wonder is the first one. Then giving yourself permission to be excited about what's coming in.
Yes.
And then surrendering to that excitement also, because in this world, I truly believe that we become numb for feelings, to that sense of wonder, to that sense of innocence, and to the excitement from it. So we can surrender to that consciously. And it's a step at a time. You can't do it all at once, guys. I don't care who you are. You cannot do it all at once. And don't do that to yourself, because then you're missing part of the experience of feeling the depth of what's available as you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's all glorious. You give yourself the time, the compassion, and the patience to feel it and integrate it as part of you.
Do you need to turn that off? Okay. So I love what you just said. It's open up to the miraculous, open up to awe. A number of speakers who I know to be very spiritual people have also said the same thing. It's like this awe at creation. It's like we are gifted to be the eyes and ears and hands of God, and to look back at itself, at it looking out of your eyes, out of everybody who's watching. That part in you that's divine is looking into the part that's divine in you or in me, and we're touching in at that sublime level beyond words. And then we each dance in our own colors, in our own capacity. And tell me, in the second part, I want to go into what you did afterwards. You changed dramatically. You changed and let yourself discover the deeper, wilder parts of your malehood. Just even your looks, how you behave, your emanations are so different. So I'd like to dive into how you developed your masculinity and the spirituality of you as a male here on planet and body. And I would like to also introduce the viewers into some of the, if you're into it, sharing a few of the amazing vistas that you and I experience when we go into closed eye communion and soul merging, because this whole concept about finding a soulmate and being soulmates is a little bit, in my opinion, misunderstood. And we can have so much more fulfillment on this planet if we broaden that scope a little bit. So I'd love to invite you and I to share about that and what can be experienced. Would you be into that?
Absolutely. I think that'll be a great, fantastic conversation. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. So I'm going to come to a close with this first conversation. And I'm also going to ask you to pick up in the first part of the next conversation, just to share, or maybe you can end with it. I know that one of your shows was, or one of the headlines is, what's all wrong with the normal manifestation method of positive thinking and all that. And do you have an answer in one sentence, or shall we make a whole conversation about that? Can you put it in a nugget?
I think I could put it in a nugget. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Tell me.
Oh, well, it's manifestation and creation. It's manifestation to me, and it's my interpretation of it now. It's my awareness, and it's what I'm playing with, and we all get to play with different aspects of it. But manifestation is more about manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
It's structure, it's control, it's things. And you have to go beyond manifestation. And truly, once we create, creation is really how manifestation takes form. Instead of manifestation creating creation, it doesn't work that way. So we're trying to get into from the human experience into the divine, and truly, we should be creating from the divine into the human experience.
Yes. Bravo. Thank you. Yes, it's co-creation in how I put it. Yes. Wow. Yes. So it's not, if we can help it, into moving out of the infancies of manifestation and having it my way to co-creation with the divine, and focusing first on soul and divine awareness, and then learning to navigate time-space in all completely new way.
Yeah, absolutely. And the question to ask yourself, if you're manifesting or creating, it's why? Why do I want this particular outcome? Why am I being guided? Not why do I want this? Why am I being guided to make this a creation of my expression?
Yeah.
And if you can start with that question, then the answers will come. They'll come in feeling tones. They'll come through synchronicity, but they'll start showing up. And you'll find that trying to create from manifestation first won't feel right anymore. Right. It'll feel forced. It'll feel rigorous, and it'll feel like you're manipulating something that doesn't want to take form.
Right. It's leaving the whole picture of soul, or actually learning to take soul and God into the whole playing field. I absolutely love that. Thank you. And I'm so glad that I know that was one of your topics from one of your speakers, and it jumped out at me and I loved it. So I wanted to take that nugget into this conversation. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John, for this much. And I am so super excited for the second part, where we're going to dive into the juicy part of soul relating, soul union and awareness, and also becoming a really vibrant male as a spiritual being here on planet Earth.
Oh, I can't wait. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for everybody who's joined us here for the free conversation. And I will now take a break and see John in just a moment for the second part for all Access Pass participants here in the Dream Big Summit, with the conversation about soulmate, soul relationship, and true male spirituality. Thank you. Bye-bye, John.
Bye-bye.
Namaste. Thank you for holding that space, Ilona, for holding that space to dream big.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye. All right. Welcome.